when Hi, Dr. Maskana. We are gonna start maybe 3-5 minutes, just waiting for the participants to come in first. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. Okay.
Are you guys meeting them physically?
Some of us are here.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Amirullah kan?
I think that's Amirullah.
Where is
Lighting kasi siya.
Where is he?
Amazing.
Liana is purple. Bukan?
Liana Adlin, I think.
Ni
Hi,
Liana
I'm in
Adlin.
UIAs. You know about that. My niece.
No, Liana is Liana Adlin.
I think, yeah.
Hi,
I can't see.
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, we can see your face.
Show your face.
Amir too.
Hello.
Hi.
My internet
there.
connection is unstable. This is how it is.
Hi.
And apa ni? Okay.
Office
Okay.
itu.
That's my own.
So two of the guests are with Daniel and also
Oh,
so
hi.
two of the guests are already here.
Sudahlah, Matil.
Alifa belum lagi. Alifa.
Okay, guys,
so
we are
Daniel.
broadcasting live already. So, yeah, because you're already streaming, right?
Yeah, I think it's so streaming
Yeah,
already.
already streaming.
Okay, so don't lah gossip on YouTube. Nanti semua akan.
Oh, okay, sorry. tak gosip. Just beritahu.
Yeah, just in case lah, terlepas cakap.
Alright. Okay. So we have Liana here, Amir here. These two guests are here. There's another one, Alifa. So we're just waiting for Alifa. Can you? Okay, make sure. All right, it's already 3. I think we'll wait. Atika, we'll wait another 5 minutes. You're the first.
The first one.
Okay.
Okay, so these. Salam, Dr. how are you?
I'm sleepy. I'm hoping Amir will crack some jokes for us today.
Oh. I'm still thinking of the jokes years before. I'm growing old now.
I'm like a bus, like stopping at different stations for meetings today. So now I'm at this station.
Okay, hoping you have a fun stops.
Thank God they have food accompanying the meeting. So Alhamdulillah, I'm still okay. Have we started? Not yet, yeah?
Not yet, we haven't started. I'll just wait. Now it's 2 p.m. So maybe we'll wait another 4-5 minutes. Good. Just we'll wait for the guests and also for our students to come in. At the moment, 23, 24 watching now.
Why is Daniel in your room, Dr. Ruby?
We will discuss later.
Okay.
We will discuss
Yes,
later.
Alifa's here.
That I know. The empathy.
Disconnecting to audio. Okay. Hi, Alifa.
Oh, so sorry. Thank you. Technical difficulties.
You're so young again. Okay, I think we'll wait another 2 minutes, then we just proceed.
Great.
All right. Just before. Suraya Adio, I miss you.
RxG.
All right, we're watching now. So I think our session will be a hot session. Hot session. No, literally hot. Oh, the Tadlina's here as well. Okay. Okay. All right. I think all the guests are here. Just wait one moment. Just formality. Just 42 years, that's what I said. Okay. Okay, it's already 5 minutes according to my watch. So I think we can just start the session.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon to all. Welcome to the Taaruf session with DELL alumni. My name is Atika and I am your moderator for this session. So DELL, in collaboration with Elite, have created this session for BENL students to get to know our alumni and to understand what they can do with a BENL degree. So today we have 5 BENL alumni with us that are ready to share their experiences in the working world. So each speaker will have a 15-minute sharing session, and then we will end this gathering with a Q&A session. If there are any questions you have, please type them out in the YouTube live comment section. And our committee members will collect them, and then we will ask them at the end. So let us begin our session with Kita Al-Fatiha. Okay, so without further delay, I would like to invite Brother Muhammad Daniel bin Baharudin, a lecturer at the Center of Language Studies, City University, Malaysia, to share with us a little bit about his profession and about how being a former BENL student has helped him in his line of work.
Alrighty. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. So how many are watching? I'm not so sure. All right, so welcome again. So I'm just going to share to you, all of you, on my experience on how being a DELL student, can help me in my career now. So if you can see, there's a lot. Our speakers for today comes from different background. I come from the education field, and then you have another person from different industries. So you can see how valuable the DELL really is in terms of giving you an edge in the working profession. So you must be wondering, like, okay, if let's say that I study BENL, okay, what are the things that I will work? People always say, okay, you can be a teacher. I mean, you can, but it doesn't stop there. All right, but I don't have the liberty to explain from that perspective because obviously the profession, the field that I'm currently doing now is in education. So I will share my thoughts on how being a BENL graduate actually helps me in the education field. So basically you are new students here. So probably you know what are the things or the subjects that you're going to learn. Okay, probably linguistics subject, literature subject, so how that can help in the education field. I mean, currently I'm teaching English, general English. I'm also teaching linguistics and literature. So I think that is obvious. When you learn linguistics and literature, you have the knowledge to teach them. But let's say that if you are interested to become a teacher or an educator, either in the primary sector, primary school, secondary school, or in tertiary education, how can the things that you learn in DELL, Department of English Language and Literature, can help you? Because we don't have any we don't have courses that teach you how to teach. So obviously, let's say if you are interested to be in the field of education, you need to compete with education student from the education background. So how can you be an edge over the students from education? All right, because obviously if you have compare a BENL student with obviously TESOL student, right? So you have the two. If by qualification, they are more qualified to teach rather than us, because they learn the skills to teach. We learn more towards the language itself through linguistics, through literature. So how can our course be an edge over them? I'm not saying that we should compete, but it's a ruthless world that you need to compete with a lot of people. So how can you be an edge there? So the first thing, from my experience, how I set apart from, because I still need to compete with students from education background, because when I graduated in June, and then after 3 months of relaxing, I straight away got a job offer in UM. My first job was in UM, part-time, teaching Japanese students for their summer program for 5 months. And then because it's on contract basis, so they only offer me for 1 semester, around 5 to 6 months. And then I got a job offer for my current working place. So I was quite surprised, because I was very, very fresh back then. I don't have any experience. I don't have any official experiences in teaching, right? So I always wonder on what are the qualities that I have that makes them want to hire me in their company, because UM is quite a big, it's an institution, all right? And of course, in City University now, although it's not a very big private university, but still you need to compete with others. So what makes you different? So what I noticed from actually speaking with the candidates, I do observe them, I do ask them questions on how they view, the world of education. We understand the language better than anyone else, okay? I'm not saying that people from the education do not know about the language, but our focus on the language. We learn deeply. You have this language here, so you learn deeper there. Through what? Through linguistics and also through literature. All right. And because although we don't have the skills to teach, we still can use the knowledge of linguistics and literature to actually assist us in teaching, if you are going to go to that direction. For instance, I learned psycholinguistics the other day. I learned psycholinguistics. I learned error analysis with Dr. Nora, psycholinguistics with Dr. Because although we don't have, I'm not so sure if you will be learning error analysis, but that actually helped me to identify how to identify error and how to identify error well. Because when you are teaching English or any subjects, you need to know how to counter error. Let's say that your students are doing an error in terms of their language while presenting or while in writing. What are the things that you need to consider when you want to solve the error? And that actually helps me in my teaching and also helps me in interview. They ask you, how do you make sure, let's say if students makes an error, how do you make sure that they because error is a very big thing for students, especially for students who just learning English. They are so afraid of committing errors. So if you don't have the background knowledge on how to counter that sort of problem, then they might be humiliated and they might not be encouraged to use the language. So the field of linguistics actually helped me to be able to identify how to identify error and how to counter such errors. So that's just some of the example that I learned. Literature. You might be wondering, huh? Literature? I'm teaching English. How can literature help me in my teaching? If let's say that you are going to go to the education field. Simple. When you learn literature, you will be improving your critical reading skill. Simple as that. When I was a teenager, when I was in school, I'm not very interested in literature. I don't read that much. My interest in literature actually comes when I enter DELL, actually. From there, I started to, wow, there's a lot of interesting literary texts, interesting authors. And I found my favorite author when I was, learning here. Agi Alun Poe. Dr. Aisha was the one who introduced Poe the first time to me. And wow, so interesting. I remember reading his composition of the essay of Agi Alun Poe. From there, I actually, okay, this is a nice author. I think I wanted to read more of him. And then now I'm not only teaching English, but I'm also teaching literature, and I incorporate the things that I learn. So back to critical reading, because in each, I learned with Dr. Madi for literature, Dr. Aisha, I learned with Prof. Qayyum, and all of them train us on how to analyze a piece of literature in different ways. Because each and every one of them, they have their own specialty, they have their own, because when we talk about analyzing literary texts, there's a different ways on how you analyze it, all right? How do you understand a piece of text? So Dr. Aisha has her own way on how to analyze a piece of text. Prof. Qayyum has his own ways. Dr. Mahmoud has his own ways on how to understand a piece of text. So when you go back to the field of teaching, obviously reading skills is one of the most important skills. We have 4 skills, right? Reading, writing, listening, and speaking, writing, okay? So when you learn literature deeply, you can actually use how you analyze a literary text in teaching reading. When you let's say, because obviously you will not teach literature in for general English, maybe you can include, let's say that you want to analyze a piece of text, a piece of, let's say, article written by someone else. So you can actually use the knowledge of literature to analyze it from different perspective, on different point of view. Not only literature, but also discourse analysis. That's another subject. You're going to understand the text in a different way. So you see, you can actually put all the things that you learn into teaching. Discourse analysis, literature, error analysis, psycholinguistics. Psycholinguistics helps you to understand better about the user themselves, on how they use language, on how they produce language. Obviously, that knowledge can help the user. Like I taught a Chinese student from China, right? And obviously they are EFL, English as a foreign language. So the way on how they acquire language is different from us. So how do you counter that? How do you understand the way on how EFL students acquire language with ESL students? So when I teach EFL, foreigners, I use the knowledge of linguistics, psycholinguistics, to understand how they acquire the language. So that actually influenced the way on how I teach. I don't teach them the same way on how I teach our local students. So I think that's a bit on how the subjects that you learn, the courses that you learn in DELL can help you in the education field. Let's say that you are interested to become an educator, a teacher, at any level, tertiary, secondary, primary. Yep. How many minutes are?
You have 3 more minutes.
I have 3 more minutes. Okay. Any question? Alah, macam lecturer pula. I am a lecturer. Any questions, students? Mana nak tengok question?
Questions.
Okay.
We have students are watching this on YouTube.
Okay. Students, any question? Ada. Apa lagi I nak share?
If not, you could end your.
Yeah, I think if there's no question,
We'll have a Q&A
yeah.
session at the
Okay.
end.
So if you have any question on how DELL is related in the education field, I'm in the education field, so you can ask me. And I'm still new. I teach for around 2 years now. So yep, maybe after graduating, you can, how a newcomer in the field survive in this education field. Right. So I think
Yeah.
that's all for me.
Daniel,
Thank you. Yes.
Daniel, tell us a bit about your other work, the interesting
My
work.
other works.
That too is relevant,
Yes. Oh, my other works. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm actually I can say a professional MC, not a professional, a freelance MC, master of ceremony. I do a lot of events, weddings, sports day, convocation. Here's the thing. When I joined City University, okay, my first day, they actually appointed me to become the master of ceremony for the convocation. First day on the job. All right. So going back to Dr. Maskana's question on how that can help me in that area, it's actually in terms of how we deal with people. Because when you become a master of ceremony, people always see, okay, you just cakap je, you just blah, 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 blah. But behind the scene, you actually need to deal a lot with the clients on what they want, and then the way on how you want to present yourself. So again, the knowledge from DELL has actually helped me, like discourse analysis. So discourse is the simplest one, because you will deal with different people, and they have different needs, and how do you want to cater with them? So that can actually help me to promote myself as well. Right, so that's a bit about my other job, freelance MC and voiceover as well. Yep.
Thank you so much, Brother Daniel. If you have any questions, you can comment on the YouTube live, and then we'll ask him more questions at the end of everyone's sharing session, okay? Okay, so next I would like to invite Sister Norliana Adlin binti Muhammad Nasaruddin, a children's rights officer from Suruhanjaya Hak Asasi Manusia Malaysia, to share with us how BENL helps her being a children's rights officer. Okay, Sister.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Very good evening, everyone. My name is Lana. So a bit of background about myself. I graduated in 2018, and then I pursued my master and graduated in 2019. My master is actually in human security, or another word for that is human rights in UKM. And during my master study, I actually worked as part-time English teacher. And I discovered a great interest on the issues faced by children throughout my 2 years of working as an English teacher. So that it kind of ignites the passion to study further about the issues. And how BENL actually helps me. Basically, I would say that the 4 years I had was a process of its own. It was a process of discovering my own strengths and weaknesses. And I think during the first semester, it was a subject taught by Mr. Mazan, which was writing. And that was the very first subject that I kind of like sparks the interest to write. But even throughout those second year, I noticed the interest to write, but I'm not sure what are the field or what are the issues that I want to write. And up until the 4th year, I would say, I finally discovered the things that I want to write and the field that I want to delve into, which is on human rights or specifically children's rights. So, and to be honest, I wasn't really a student who knew what I wanted to do or knew what I was passionate about since the very beginning, because I think up until the final year, that was like the peak where I discovered the things that I want to do. So yeah, alhamdulillah, when I pursued my master, there was it was a mixed mode actually, a full-time mixed mode, only a year. And then the writing that I actually learned during the first year until throughout my degree years in DELL and until my master, it actually helps me a lot. I still remember written about thesis statement by Mr. Mala, how do you write thesis statement, and it's the same knowledge that I apply during my master degree. And alhamdulillah, those master actually helps me to be at where I am right now as a children's right officer. Sorry. So what else? Is there any questions so far? Or am I going too fast? Hello.
No questions so far.
No questions so far. Okay. What else?
Maybe you could talk about what you do as a children's rights officer.
Okay, sure. So my task is basically the children unit under Suhakam is very much a very new unit. It was just established like last year on July 2019, and I was appointed on December 2019, and I'm until now around less than a year lah. And then my task is basically to receive complaints on issues related to children in Malaysia, and this complaint varied from child neglect, child abuse, sexual abuse, and even some issues like children getting denied to education or not able to return to school. There was actually one complaint whereby it was a 5-year-old child who was denied to go to Taska just because the parent is actually, one of the parents, which is the dad, is actually a Nigerian. It's a very much a racism and discrimination issues going on there, but you see the victim is actually the child herself. So it's a very saddening situation. And another job scope is that I do monitoring work to prison schools or Yumasir of Sekolah Hari Geni or Sekolah Tanasbati or other places like social welfare houses like Rumah Akhlak or Rumah Perlindungan. So those are basically the job scopes that I have at the moment. So any more questions?
Someone has asked, what subject sparked your passion to fight for children's rights?
Specifically on the subject, not really a sub, but I wouldn't say it's okay. Like there's one subject which is actually very late, and I think it was a book by Rabindranath Tagore. I think my fellow classmates or colleagues here already know, and it's a very famous piece by Rabindranath Tagore, and it was a piece that also helped me to realize that there's a lot of children issues that are not really being well addressed. Even simple issues like getting access to education, for example, or even like healthy food. It's like an ongoing cycle, not just happen in Malaysia, but also around the world. So that is one of the subjects I would say. Okay, what else?
How do you use the subjects that you learned during your time in DELL now? Let's say your linguistic subjects, other than
Okay, just to add to that, my major was linguistics, but I also took a minor in psychology. And how those subjects actually helped me during my work at the moment is basically we learn how to use the language, not properly I would say, and then we have the upper hand or the expertise to execute the language properly. And how I applied it for my job, aside from those two things that I mentioned, which is on handling complaint and also to do monitoring, I also write certain articles or press statement, or we call it as advocacy works in Suhakam. And those advocacy works in need of very critical analysis on certain issues. Like for myself, we wrote about child labor the other day. I wrote about against child marriage, and then how linguistics helped me a lot is that throughout those 4 years of study, you will definitely improve your learning, be it in grammar, be it or the way your writing style, be it or any kind of writing, speaking, or you in general using the language on its in general using the language. So even in Suhakam now, aside from like those monitoring and handling complaints, they would actually refer to me if there's certain check on grammar, on things like on a poster. I did actually told them this one poster whereby, do you know? And I was like, that is wrong, is the wrong term to use. It's not do you know, it should be did you know. It should be used in a past tense form because you're actually asking a question whether or not someone has already knew the information or not. So it actually reflects back to how I actually apply the knowledge that I've learned in Banel. And yeah, this is like one of the very small examples that I can give.
We have a question here. Is your career almost the same as the UNICEF program? That's what.
UNICEF is a much bigger organization compared to SWACAM because UNICEF is an international agency, whereas SWACAM is just like national, or it's kebangsaan. It's like a very not as on par as UNICEF, but the work evolves around there. But UNICEF is only focusing on children. The agency is only on children on its own. But for SWACAM, it's my job is on children, but there are also other officers handling like refugees, handling women, handling issues like orang asli, OKU. So it is more varied in terms of the job scopes in SWACAM compared to UNICEF. Any more questions?
Someone has also asked if, let's say, they were interested in a job as a children's rights officer,
yes.
Should they stay in Benno, or does it revolve more around human sciences, other human sciences?
I guess the answer is up to you. It's not an answer that I can give actually, to be honest, because for me, even as working as a human rights officer now, the 4 years I was in Manil, it does help me a lot in my work now. But for someone who is very much interested to start delve into the field of human rights since the very beginning, even before you start taking any course or any degree, the specific one, the common one is should be law or international law. But even if you stay in Banel, I don't see the problem because look at me. I don't even have any legal background whatsoever, but it takes a lot of hard work to get there. But just don't limit yourself like Banel teacher, Banel English. No, I believe that Banel is a very overbroad course. It doesn't limit, it doesn't put the boundary of what you can be or what you can do. So yeah, just know what you want, but don't limit yourself to what you have now.
Okay, thank you, Sis Liana.
Okay, thank you so much.
If you have any more questions for Sister Liana. Oh, just wait, one more question, sorry.
Thank you.
Would you recommend minoring in anything if this person wants to be a human rights officer?
Minoring? I would say political science, because there's one subject under political science which is international law. So that relates to certain conventions or certain human rights conventions, or what do you call it? Law, I would say. There is like one course under that. So yeah, political science would be the answer.
Okay, so thank you, Sister Liana. If you have any more questions for her, you can ask them now, and then we will ask her during the Q&A session. So now, moving on to the next speaker, we have Brother Muhammad Amirullah bin Zulkifli, a customer operations specialist at Shell Malaysia. Brother Amirullah?
Hi. thank you so much for inviting me for the session. And to new students, welcome to UIE, IIM. It's my home. Thank you too. And also to everyone else, welcome to DELL.
I'm sorry, Brother Amirullah, we can't hear you very clearly.
Really? Okay, let me just change my headset.
Hello.
Yes, that's
All
better.
right. This is better. All right. All right. Once again, thank you so much for inviting me. And to new students who are watching this, welcome to UIA, IIUM, or welcome to DELL. I'm pretty sure that you are excited to embark your journey as one of the students in our department, and I can guarantee you you're going to have fun 100%, perhaps 200%, and you're going to learn a lot today. You've learned from Daniel, you have learned from Yana, from me, and other alumni as well. So for today, I would like to share a little bit on my job experiences. I will definitely relate it a little bit on how I understood it from Banel perspective, and also how DELL has helped me through on choosing this journey for myself. I'm not sure if I can actually share my screen. Am I allowed to do that?
I think you can try. I think you can.
All right. I think it mentioned here that host disable participant screen sharing. Hi, Dr. Ruby. Would you mind to allow me to share my screen? All right, that's great. That's super great. Okay. All right. Now, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we are.
All right. So I hope you can see. Hi, my name is Ameria. Uh, well, let me just continue from here. I always like to have a slide with me because it helps me to present better. So regarding my job experiences, maybe I can start off a little bit. Before Shell, I worked as a lecturer in public university for 1 semester. And then I got an offer in Shell, and I decided to accept it because I thought it's a good challenge for me to try in corporate world. So working in a Shell itself has been really amazing, groundbreaking in the sense that everything is relatively new. So hence, it helps me to discover myself as someone who just newly embarked in a corporate world. I'm pretty sure a lot of other colleagues here, our alumni who have been working in a corporate world a lot longer than me. And I just want to share a little bit on my 2 years experience in Shell. And here are the things that get me moving in this journey. So as a customer operations specialist, I can say that I have 6 items here. I operate business, I manage stakeholders, I deliver business ideas and values. I also help to execute projects or assist, and a little bit on self-improvement, still in learning and development as well. And the last one, have fun. I think we all want that in everything that we do. So I'm just going to share a little bit on what I do. For example, here you can see that in terms of operating business and managing stakeholders, I have done a lot of trainings in Malaysia, mostly in East Malaysia because I'm Sarawakian, so they prefer me to talk in a local language. Also, a lot of people in East Malaysia, our B2B clients, business to business clients, of Chinese customers, so they actually prefer someone who can speak English better. And this is I owe to DELL. Specifically, who has helped me to sharpen my efficiency and looking in language. Aside of that, I've done a lot of presentation to top management as well. So if you can see on the right side, you can see our pictures with a few of our UK counterpart management team from retail leadership team. It was a little bit fun. It's not my kind of normal presentation. It was really creative. We actually charted a more of a sitcom, I would say, or a sketch kind of presentation, something that I've never thought of. and something that I've never done in during my studies before, but here I am doing that. Next, delivering business ideas and value and executing projects. One of my proud achievements so far is actually it's a little bit weird, but creating videos. Uh, Creating videos in the sense that I actually create videos for mostly my clients, our clients who are using our system to manage their requests or any kind of orders they have in regards to our business. So on the left, sorry, on the right hand side, you can see an example of what brings me to this point actually. So as someone who is working in the corporate world, you don't usually see eye to eye of a problem. You need to experience the context itself. Try to find out any kind of situation that you may be able to simplify, or if you find any problem, you need to find a solution for that. So a lot of times, the situation that encompasses my job as a customer operations specialist is where clients are very much over dependent on us to manage their requests, where we actually have a system, just like imagine you have something to do with online transfer banking. So customer sometimes go to you over the counter, transfer manually, right? But you actually can do it just by Maybank to you. So Maybank to you is one of my subject matter expert in Shell. I actually understand well, and I'm a master and I'm an expert in our own Shell system. So I understood that the system is there, but we can see the behavior of clients that instead of going straight to the system, they actually go straight to us because, of course, that's what we do. We do best in human interaction, but there's always a way to make sure that clients go through the system, go to digital options. So our task is to reduce our manual works, divert our clients to that online site. What we did is that what I did, I collaborated with marketing line and our international counterparts who have similar interests in creating a tutorial videos. I remember that I had to reach out our PH counterpart who is really good in the designing icons and everything else. So my part is scripting the videos and always charting on the project itself, when it's going to start and when it's going to deliver it, when is it going to get approved, and when is it going to launch in our YouTube channel. The result was very, very magnificent. We have seen behavior where clients move to online site to manage their requests. And actually, in Shell, we can translate this to a value. And we understood that by doing that, we actually save around USD 20K. So that's a lot actually. So this is all about projects. And last but not least, in Shell, we actually do self-improvement and we actually have fun as well. You can see how I'm smiling over there. That is me being an MC and me holding my laddu, one of the Indian sweets. I really love that. I also joined my team in organizing an away day, which is on the left bottom. In the middle upper part, we actually conducted CSR, cleaning the beach in Malacca. And if you can see the middle part down, that's the comms that I did for my department to greet everyone Selamat Hari Raya. I like to do that. And the most right hand side is what I do to contribute as a part of our safety and environment team, where we actually conducted coloring session for everyone. It's fun, and to be honest, it helps me to develop my communication skill, social skill as well. And to be honest, this I have to thank to Dell. So my next slide is how did learning in Dell help me a lot. So whatever positive thoughts that you have right now, or Dell's going to give me good stuff, I have this feeling it's tenfold of that for me. All right, I have three items here. holistic approach on its own way. That's what DELL is going to offer you. Creative and critical analysis, you have to find that yourself actually. And platforms, this is something wonderful that I will share afterwards as well. So first, learn a lot of things. You will definitely learn history, politics, culture, current news. So uh, allow me to echo what Ms. Liana has mentioned. When you are in Dell, you will probably take a course which is called writing. I believe it's now called rhetoric, advanced rhetoric, right? So I remember Mr. Mazlan has always told us every morning, have you read the newspaper? Then, of course, being so as a fresh new student, I was really keen on buying newspapers. Unfortunately, not now because you can do it online. What about politics? So if I remembered, if you actually go through politics and history comes along together, I remembered learning in South Asian literature. We learn a lot about politics and history of India and Pakistan as well. Culture. Now, culture is across linguistic and literature studies. There's nothing that you're going to miss from all of the subjects. Each of them is going to touch a little bit on culture, whether it's just introduction uh, courses, poetry, social linguistic, psycholinguistic as well, error and error analysis, and definitely all literature courses will touch about culture, something that you will not miss. There's a lot more aspects of what you're going to learn in DAO. One of all the courses encompasses everything, but I wish you to see the site where if you go and learn Banner, you are allowed to explore more than you can actually, because our main one of the main thing that we do as Benel student is reading. Of course, if you don't read, then you miss the whole lots. But if you read, you will definitely catch a lot of these items as well. Now, next, creative and critical and fun. I have a lot here I would like to share from a lot of our lecturers. I can take a few. All right. For example, I think Dr. Mehdi is here, so I'm going to choose her classes. In one of her classes, I actually acted and recorded a short film. You will never know that when you have to use your acting skill outside, not to be fake, but you have to understand that when you actually meet your clients, you have to put a face. You have to be positive. Okay, learning to appreciate South Asian history and culture from Dr. Asha class. Um, in Shell, we have a very diverse community. For example, we have Chinese and Indians. Um, this allows me to understand better because by understanding South Asian history and culture, I was able to communicate better with my Indian friends. To be honest, and which is why they give me a lot of ladus as well. What else? From Dr. Nora's class, I watch movies critically thanks to Dr. Nora's class. You can't just watch movies because of pleasure. You're a Banel student. You need to see it from some other angles, maybe. Yeah. And I remembered our previous lecturer, Dr. Fariza. I dressed as a Victorian people just by using newspapers. So it was a lot of fun. And I can say that's creative and critical. It just you gotta take the chance, give Benel a chance, and you will see the beautiful in it. And last but not least, platforms. So to be honest, being in Dell as a Benel Benel student was really exciting. Dell has a lot of platforms that they can give you. For example, I've joined ASAPEC 2017 as a program manager. I've also collaborated with Prof. Farida and Dr. Ainul in organizing or assisting our Australian students to become a panel students and become a UIA students. And at the top, at the lower bottom on the right, we have a session where we discuss CEFR. I'm just an attendee, but it was really insightful. You can see Sir Daniel over there as well. He's in there. If you couldn't find anything in Dell that is in favor to you, you can always make your own platform. On the left hand side, I can tell you that that is my team. There's a lot of Benel students in there. That is our theater house. We call it Theater House of Silver Spades. And the lower bottom, that is my favorite, Secretaries of English Language and Literature. You can always find people who have the same interests, where you can also build your soft skills, so that in the later part of the time after you graduate, you will be able to use them. So a lot of platforms are available in DELL, not just DELL, UIA per se. Um, you need to take charge of it and you need to take the chance. So before I end my session, I would like to share a little bit on what Dr. Nora has shared with us in the first few sessions of the classes. Today, I want to teach you to see things through another window. When you learn stylistics, you need to see things differently. You don't just see text as it is. There must be something. All right. You haven't learned about E.E. Cummings' poems, but you're gonna have a headache with that. But let's have fun with Dr. Nora later with you in her class. I hope you had the chance. Being in DELL is really different. You don't see the world as it is on a superficial level, like what Sir Daniel has mentioned. You're going to see linguistic language, not just from this level, but you go deeper in that. And that's what I feel when I learned, and that's what I get. That's what I got. And that's what I applied to other things as well, which is why I'm now in Shell, because I believe we can always go farther and beyond than what we are. So I think that's all from me. I know I'm taking a lot of times, but if you have questions, do drop in YouTube, and maybe we can just get back later. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brother Amirullah, for that
Mhm.
wonderful sharing session. We will ask you questions later on in the
Yes,
Q&A
yes,
session.
yes.
So now I would like to welcome Sister Alifa Zainuddin, a journalist at the Malaysian Reserve, to share with us what it's like being a journalist and how her Benno degree has helped her in her profession.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Assalamualaikum. And it's a pleasure to see some familiar faces on the screen. And first of all, I just like to congratulate all new intake students for successfully being a student at IIUM. I personally think this is one of the best universities in the world, and this is not this is probably a biased statement, but I feel that this is one of the few places really that allows you to learn your heart out and make use of that knowledge in a meaningful way, kind of thing. So I personally feel that I've experienced being a student at 3 different universities. I was a direct intake student at UiTM before I joined IIUM, and then I did my master's in UM. So from those 3 different universities, I can say that IIUM offers something different, and it, like I said, it gives you that platform to learn whatever you want to learn, really, majoring, minoring, double major, another degree, stuff like that, and also make sense of that, in your life. How do you make use of that? It's not just to answer exams, but to really apply that in your life. So another thing I just want to make a note of is I know you guys are going through a lot of trouble, I believe, right now. I've been reading a lot of things in the news, processing a lot of news on this university lockdown and all that. So I really hope that you guys can take care and don't let that stop you from utilizing all kinds of resources that are available to you to learn and enjoy your time in IIUM. So I just like to also share some slides, just like Brother Amir. I've also prepared a slide just so that I can be a bit structured in my sharing session. So if I can just share this. Hold on. I'm sharing you my screen, right? Okay. So so I guess right now you are fresh from your Taaruf week. and it's really hard for you to imagine, what your future is going to look like. I know that even after graduation, I was still unclear about what I can do and what I wanted to do. So, but this kind of session helps you to see what you can do, essentially, that it helps you to be a bit more imaginative, rather than, just limiting your choices to just being in the education field or, something that's typically associated with BENL. So journalism is one of the typical sort of areas that you can go into, but I'd like to give a more personal overview of what that actually means and what it requires from you. So I don't have an elaborate slide. I just sort of print screen from whatever that's available out there. So this is just to give you an overview of myself. Okay, just an introduction. So I did my bachelor's degree. I graduated in 2015. And immediately after that, I did my master's in It's just a one-year program. So there I did political science. I wanted to try something that involved Southeast Asia. So had that one-year program, which was enough, to satisfy my thirst for knowledge, but also not drain me too much. So that was the ideal course for me. So for 1 year, I was at So during that time that I was in I did the program involved internships, which I had to go to. It was I had to go abroad. That was that was what the program required for me to go abroad. So initially, I was based in Singapore, where I was associated with this Islamic and Malay Affairs Research Institute. But I had, due to technical problems, I had to make some changes. So therefore, I went to New Zealand instead to also do research. This time is in Europe. It's in New Zealand, on Europe. So I did that for 2 months. Gained a bit of experience, working experience, but also academic experience as well. Right after I completed my studies in after the internship, I joined the Malaysian Reserve, where I have been for the last 4 years. So the internship, is just for a year, and then 4 years later, it's all Malaysian Reserve as a journalist. So a bit about Malaysian Reserve. So I'll go deep into Malaysian Reserve, and then later on, if you have any questions about the BENL program itself and how it got me to where I am today, you can ask that in the subsequent session. But let me just take you through my day-to-day life, essentially, all right? So that you can have an idea of how one future can look like for you, maybe if you want to join Malaysian Reserve one day. All right, so the Malaysian Reserve is a print company. It's a English newspaper company, and we've been around for more than a decade, and it's a business English paper. So my role there is as a writer, and what I do is essentially write news, I cover events, and I arrange for interviews. So most of the time, reporters have a specific beat that they do. In my case, I don't really have a focus. But I cover a bit of everything, essentially. So I do a bit of politics, I do a bit of economy, and I do a bit of business. So that's just an overview. And let me take you through the workflow that I go through on a day-to-day basis. So what I do is, first of all, go to events. Right, so this is just a snapshot of some of the events, assignments that I go to. So this is an interesting picture. If you can see my cursor moving, this is an interesting picture in the sense that these are all HS students. So this is Brother Haris. He was a BENL student. He's now in Malaysia Kini, also a senior reporter. That's myself, and that is Sister Sarah, who did her degree in political science, a senior of mine, political science. And she's now working as a reporter for, I believe, Nikkei News Rise, international wires. And this is Sister Anissa with the blue tudung. She did sociology, and she's now a reporter in Bloomberg. So you can see that where HS can take us. I mean, these are all HS graduates, and I think this is something you can be proud of. This is when we were covering the Prime Minister at Putrajaya in January 2019. So this is another picture of me and Sarah, and this is some reporters from Metro and NST, where we did Kuala Lumpur Summit, where the likes of Erdogan was in town and stuff. So we were there at KLCC to cover the event. This is a precious moment here, an interview with Tun Siti Asma that was awarded to us. Also an interview with His Excellency, the Japanese Ambassador, Dr. Makio Miyagawa. And this is an interview with Azhar Harun, who is now the Dewan Rakyat Speaker, but at this time he was the Election Commission Chairman. So these are just how, this is probably the start of my day-to-day event. I go to an event, either it's an interview, either it's an event, it's a press conference, so I go there. So what happens then is usually I will flash information from the event. So this is an interesting event here. Dr. Mazli, when he announced his resignation as the Education Minister, so I was assigned to the event. So what I did was I flashed some information from what the lead is essentially. So he was announcing that he would be resigned, and this is actually a video of him announcing his resignation, and then some other events So I cover a lot of Parliament. So there's a lot of updates on Parliament that you can find on my Twitter. So that's where we flash. That's a term in journalism where you just kind of like spread out bits of information to inform the public. So some recent ones on Anwar Ibrahim, some recent ones on also the appointment of the Prime Minister kind of thing. So this is a snapshot of the kind of areas that I cover mostly on politics and government kind of thing. So a bit on business here, on Petronas. So after flashing, then I have to get work on doing the full story, which will be published on the newspaper, sorry. So these are just some, I guess, some of the examples that when the news come out in the newspaper. So this will be a longer piece from the event. I will flash some important details, and then I will have to write the story in full length for print. So because we are print first, the story will come out on the newspaper first before it is published on the website. So once it's on the newspaper, it's out in the newspaper, then it will go out into the website. So this is an example of the website. So this one is just an example of some other things that I do as well. So apart from, this is news writing, you call it, it's on the front page and stuff like that. But these are feature pieces. So from my interviews, from visits that I go at Islamic Arts Museum, for example. I visited the museum and then I can write a more elaborate piece on it. So these are some examples, and this one is more, a more in-depth look into the haze and stuff like that. So this is the website. Some examples of stories that comes out on the website. So, all right, so that's basically the step-by-step. I go to an event, I flash the news, I write the news, and then it comes out in the print, and then it comes out on the website. So, okay, so let's get ourselves back to IUM and BENL. So how did an English degree help me in my career? So my first question here is, did I plan to be a journalist? I think that's an important question to ask, because no, that it was never in my plan to be a journalist. So first of all, by character, I'm an introvert. So I really could not imagine myself going out, meeting people, what more, meeting ministers and asking them questions and getting information from them. Calling up experts to get their opinion. So it really was not in my mind that I could be a journalist. So that was not an option from the very beginning. It just happened, I guess, when I was looking out for a job. So secondly, why it was not in my plan is because it involves business writing. This is a business newspaper, so there are a lot of business terms that I have to understand and use. So I don't have a degree in economics. I don't have a degree in journalism or communication to start off with, so it's not in my plan, but this is how, but I guess, you can only plan so much, but at the end of the day, again, being an IIM student, you will believe in takdir. So I was somehow led to this industry while looking for a job, and since then I made use of the opportunity lah. So here's the thing I want to touch about. Planning is one thing, but knowing that at the end of the day, what the job market looks for is something that's very broad in nature lah. You know, this one, technical skills is secondary. So the thing that employers are looking for most, usually lah, I'm not referring to any kind of article here, but you know, most articles will tell you that they're looking for somebody who can communicate, somebody with a good attitude, and somebody who can think, essentially. And that is what the BENL program can offer you, right? First of all, you can work on your language, you know, and there are so many articles out there that talks about how Malaysian students or employers are struggling to find employees who can speak good English. So the fact that if you can have good English itself is already, you know, a plus point there. So that's something that, you know, that I think is a given. If you're a BENL graduate, you know that you're good in the language. Secondly is thinking skills. So thinking skills, you look into human behavior and it gives you perspective. So thinking skills here, when you study literature, when you study language itself, you are looking into human behavior. You're having this reflective moment where you are trying to understand why a person behaves in such a way, you know, and why that person reacts in such a way. So for example, and this is very important in life, essentially, wherever you are lah, later on in the future, you know, that it's important for you to understand where a person is coming from and how they're reacting to things, you know, so that you can also react appropriately, kind of thing, because you know, working in a team and stuff like that. So for example, you know, you study in Shakespeare, Othello, you know, there's this concept of jealousy, for example, you know, so in class you can really go in depth, you know, why the person is jealous, you know, why and what comes out of that jealousy, you know, that, you know, the person ends up backbiting the person, you know, trying to, you know, put you down and stuff like that. So when you understand that, you can see how that applies actually in real life, and that gives you some kind of understanding. I was, you know, understanding that, you know, this is just human behavior, kind of thing, and you can react appropriately. So for example, whether you want to pursue in engaging in a discussion with this kind of person, or you want to, you know, you want to be careful and stuff like that. So another thing is giving you perspective. So again, literature, language, it allows you to put things into perspective, right? So for example, as a journalist, so how this English degree is helping me in my career, it allows me to have a perspective. So for example, every single day or every single minute, I get pieces of updates, right? So let's just give 1MDB, for example, the court case on 1MDB. Every minute or every day, there's some kind of update on this person said this, that person said that, this transaction was made and stuff like that. But how do I put it all into a picture? That's where, in a way, I think literature comes in. You know, it gives me, it gives me a storyline to work with. You know, for example, and another example I can give is if you've been following politics, you know, Anwar Ibrahim recently said that, you know, he had the numbers to become the next prime minister. So, and a perspective, if you want to write about it, you know, rather than just reporting simply on it, you can give a perspective, kind of like, you know, boy cried wolf kind of thing. You know, this is not the first time that he's done it. He's done it a few times. So literature gives me that kind of creativity to tell a story in a way that's more interesting, and so that people can understand it, kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's pretty much my sharing for the day. I'll just also add on quote here. If Brother Ami quoted Dr. Mahmood, I'll quote Dr. Mahmood, Dr. Nora, sorry, just not Brother Ami, Dr. Nora. So this is Dr. Mahmood's quote, which he will usually end his emails with. So the concept of ilm and amal in this hadith lah, you know, I think you can read it yourself, but basically it highlights about how you are going to be accountable for everything that you do in life, right? So first of all, you know, whatever wealth that you get, you will be questioned about it, and that includes knowledge as well. So my philosophy in life is always like, I want to do something that I can use. You know, kadang-kadang you want a lot of knowledge, but at the end of the day, there's so much that you can digest and there's so much that you can apply. And sometimes you have knowledge, but you don't remember it. So what you don't remember, you don't act upon it, right? So if I have an advice for you, it's this, to have this thing always in your mind, to have it and to also act upon it, because you'll be accountable for it in the end. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, we can engage.
Thank you, Sister Alifa, who will be collecting questions and answering them in the question and answer session.
All right.
So now moving on to our last speaker for today, Sister Sharifah Fatin Atira binti Syed Uzair, a DELL postgraduate student, to share with us her experience pursuing a master's degree. So I have her here with me.
Hi everyone. All right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fatin. I'm a DELL postgraduate represent. Okay. So if I want to talk about my experience doing the degree program, which helps me in the thing that I'm doing now, because I'm not really working right now. I'm pursuing my master's program. So I can say that everything helped, because all that you learn during your degree, you really have to pay attention to everything. You cannot just like, oh, like this subject is not relevant to me. You will never know that they're all relevant to you later on, and you will not realize that until some point. Okay, so because I think most of our alumni has talked about their job experience and everything. So I will talk about my experience when I was in degree. So what you should do is that you have to know that you're very lucky that you're in this program and you got accepted into IUM in DELL. You have to, you know, to learn this. It's actually a really fun program, because it's under human sciences and it relates to your life. So if you really pay attention in your class, you can relate it to your everyday life. Like you can hear, like, for example, in social linguistics, you will learn how people from different societies use language, and you can hear it around you, and you will find that, oh, it's fun. Like I can relate what I'm learning in class with what I'm experiencing in my everyday life. Okay, what was I saying just now? Okay, my experience in degree. Okay, when I was doing my degree, I actually did everything. Like I was involved in clubs and societies. I went for an exchange program in my third year. Okay, so but then you have to bear in mind that you have to prioritize your academics. But I'm not saying that you should you should just study. You should study, and then you can, after, okay, inshallah, after this pandemic is, is okay, so you look at other things that you can do, because all of those things will help your skills. Okay, to be in an English program, you have to already be good in English, but then throughout the program you will be better, like a lot better. Okay, now as a PG student, I'm also a research assistant for Dr. Rabiatul, or Dr. Ruby. I think most of you have known her for now, because she was in the session this morning. Yeah, so if you're on campus, you would pretty much see me a lot, because I'll be around and I'll be with her. And some people call me Dr. Ruby's personal assistant, because I'm one of the earliest students who sold her soul to Dr. Ruby. And she's working on a research project, which my master's thesis is my master's thesis is under Dr. Ruby's FRGS project under the Ministry of Higher Education. Okay, so being an RE and as a PG student as well, I do not just like study and like be in front of my computer. Surprisingly, I had to, do a lot of things. Like I had to organize events because there are a lot of activities, for example, conferences, webinars that we handle in this department. So if you have an opportunity to be a committee or anything, because Dr. Ruby will somehow reach out to you if you're a potential, you call it minion. Okay, so you should be a part of this because this is an experience that is very valuable to me, because you do not only get to meet a lot of people from all over the country. In this situation, maybe we'll still meet but online, but that's still a thing, So yeah, organizing events like we had the most recent event that we had is it's a big conference, the ICLL. We had it back in January. Yeah, it's right before MCO. So yeah, it's a collaboration. The conference, it's a collaboration between IUM, DELL IUM, and Western Sydney University as well as Jinan University. So it's a really big conference. The committee are like, I'm one of the committees, of course. So we had to, how do I say this? You have to, it's not something that you can learn in class, but okay, we had to, sorry. I'm just like trying to refresh my memory because it's before MCO, Okay, organizing that event, because it does not only involve our university, it involves other universities as well. And we had delegates from all over the world, not only from Australia and China. So, and we had a lot of participants, presenters during that conference. So the opportunity that I had, I got to know like a lot of professors from other universities. I'm just a student, and then I get pretty easy. I get impressed pretty easy, but then getting to know them through Dr. Ruby and through the department's program is a really great opportunity for me. Yeah. And then other programs that I have. Yeah, as a master student, you have to present at conferences, but actually you only have to present once, but because I'm a Dr. Ruby's research assistant, I was forced to present at 2 conferences. One is at UiTM Perak and one is at ICLIUM. And then I had to attend, I was brought by Dr. Ruby to attend other conferences as well and webinars. Yeah, so, it's different from degree, because degree, the things that you learn in degree, they are very, you have to have all that in your head. And then when you do this PG program, it's all, you already have to know those things. Like you may take those courses, some of those courses, like, but in a more advanced level, just to to put you in a level that's suitable for in doing the PG program. And then yeah, you have to, and master's PG is more specific, so you really have to know what you want to do. Like, is it literature or is it linguistics? And then linguistics, is it applied linguistics or English language? Yeah, so I'm doing master's in applied linguistics, specifically in psycholinguistics. Yeah, so my thesis requires me to involve children, like school children, preschool children to be precise. You have to approach this preschool student, like to conduct research. You have to, it's not easy, you have to like go through the procedures. Like you have to know, like from the the management, the ministry, and then you have to get all the permissions before you can actually conduct the research at school. Okay, so these are all. It's going to be very useful when I'm going to apply a job later, because before doing my master's, I actually have worked for 2 years. So I know that, like Sister Alifa said, that these are some of the skills that employers sought after. Okay, and then I'm sorry, like if my points is like all over the place, but I'm just trying to. Okay, I hope you can get my message. Okay, so what I'm trying to say, like as a postgraduate student, I know you are all still degree students and first year first sem, but you can like figure out over the years if you want to pursue to masters, because I can say that it's a really good experience. That doing degree is another thing, but masters is another level. You will get the experience. Like I'm really lucky. I feel really fortunate that right now I can see that a lot of I'm not recognized by like top scholars. Not that recognized, they at least they know me because we've like met somewhere. So and then you make a kind of impression. Like when I present in conferences, I was very nervous every time because presenting in front of all those scholars. But then when you actually do it, you feel good, and then when they actually acknowledge you, I don't know how to describe that feeling. So I'm really grateful that I pursued masters because I think both my degrees and master's experiences will really help me in the future in what I'm going to do as a professionally. All right. Okay, so do we have any questions now? Like if I can do questions right now.
By the way, students, the reason why Fatin said all those nice things about me because I'm paying her. She's my RA, so she has nice things about me.
Yeah, I'm actually a
her salary imbalance, like.
All right, what are specific?
Right. I think we have a question, right? So Atika can, yeah.
The question is, what are the specific skills that would be beneficial if we were to pursue master later? I would say that skills are, if you really like do the program, do the English program wholeheartedly, you will get all the necessary skills that you will need. But then pursuing a master's is that you really have to know specifically which field are you interested in, and you have to have a topic in mind. Like if you want to do psycholinguistics, if you're interested in literature, or like me, I'm interested in linguistics, specifically child bilingualism, the one that I'm doing now under Dr. Ruby's program. Yes, I am Dr. Ruby's employee. She pays me. No, okay. So that's why you will see me a lot, because I'm actually working as well as studying. But I think it's a very good. I'm very lucky because I'm doing my masters and then I get paid. So and then being with Dr. Ruby and the other lecturers, because I'm a master student, so I don't really have friends who are like in the same age group as me. So I pretty much be with the lecturers. You don't really realize it, but then you actually get smarter. Like when you're, I don't know how that happened. I'm not saying that I'm smart, but I'm definitely smarter now than I was during degree, because I see Dr. Ruby every day. She's my supervisor. That's why I say her name a lot. She's my supervisor. It's like I feel like we were just talking, but then when I talk to the international, for example, international delegates during the conference, like they talk about academic stuff. They don't talk about like trivial stuff. So I'm able to get into that conversation with what Dr. Ruby always say in mind. So that's how my experience lead me, to what I'm doing right now. Yeah. Any more questions? All right. I think I have pretty much talked about everything. Yes. Is there anything else? I think, yeah, that's all.
Okay, so thank you, Sister Fatin. We will be moving on to the Q&A session. So you can ask questions in the comment section and then I will read them aloud. So there was a question for Brother Daniel. I think he's in here. I saw his name. Okay, you're here.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Okay.
All right.
He's great.
So
Yes.
the question is, what do you think? What criteria made you stand out to be chosen as a lecturer? Is it your co-curricular, your position in uni, or other factors?
All right. Good question. And I think in terms of not only as a lecturer, and I think in any field, you need to have something that stands out. Because like right now, everyone has a degree. Degree is just like, it's everyone has it. So what makes you special? What makes you stand out from the rest? If you say that, oh, I have a high CGPA, I graduated with a first class honor, I mean, a lot of people have that as well. So what makes you stand out? So yeah, I can say that my co-curricular activities and also other than classroom actually helped me to stand out, because when I was in uni, I involved myself in different societies, in elites. I think you will know what's elites. It's the secretariat under DELL, okay? And then I was an athlete back then, and I do a lot of events. I was the program manager for a lot of events, and I do a lot of emceeing as well. So that's what makes me stand out. And also because when, let's say in my field, teaching, you're not only teaching. Teaching is not only your responsibility. So, you need to know how to manage events. And let's say in my field, you need to know on how to structure programs, for instance. Currently, we are structuring programs. So what skills that can help you for you to be good in that field. So yep, I do agree. Yeah, find or acquire skills outside of classroom, I would say. All right, but the most basic skill that you need to have, and I think all lecturers would agree with this, is communication skills, teamwork skills, and leadership skills. That is the most important thing. If you have these three, that your foundation will be strong. If you don't have this three, then you will not survive in any fields. And also critical and creative thinking, in which DELL helps you to establish, because you will need to be critical in order to solve problems. And if you notice, all the assignments given by your lecturers later on will be based on real world problems. So it will help you to solve problems that you will face in when you work one day. Yeah, so that's simply from me.
Okay, thank you so much, Brother Daniel. Now we have a question for Sister Alifa. Someone asked, in journalism, do they have an editor or is it just the publishing company? That's what they asked.
Yeah. So thank you for the question. Yes, in journalism, there are always there are hierarchies essentially. So at the bottom of the rank is the writers, the journalists themselves. So among journalists pun there are hierarchies like the senior writers, there are writers, there are stringers in bigger organizations like Bernama. So and then you move on to the editors. So editors pun there'll be different levels, but yeah, there will be editors who will proofread your stories and add some meat into your stories if it lacks some kind of background or info kind of thing. So yeah, there are editors in journalism. And sorry, if I can just add, editors also, they are the ones who will make decisions whether your story comes out or not, because sometimes there may be some people who are not happy with our stories. So they can also give us a ring and prevent those kind of stories from coming out and stuff like that. So the editors will make that kind of decisions on whether or not to pursue or just drop it altogether.
Thank you, Sister Alifa. We have a question for all the alumni. So would you say it is an absolute necessity to get a master's degree in order to get the job that you really want, especially during these trying times? So anyone, if this is open to anyone to answer.
All right, so the question is about, do we have to get a master's degree in anything that you do? I think depends on what you want to do. I'm not sure if I'm giving an accurate information, but if, for example, if you want to be a lecturer, it's not going to be easy, but the minimum requirement is that you have to at least have a PhD for a lecturer in IIUM. So to get a PhD, you have to have a master's first. Yeah, so that's how it goes. And correct me if I'm wrong, my engineering friends say that if you want to pursue in the technical field, my God, my engineering jargon is so bad, you don't really need a master's degree unless you want to teach as an engineering lecturer. But then if you want to take masters just for the sake of knowledge, then you can go ahead and do it. So yeah, based on what I know.
Would anyone else like to add anything? Okay, I'll take that.
Can I add?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I do agree with what the saying. Okay, I mean, if you want to dive into the world of academia, then you need to pursue masters. Even in the private sector, obviously, if you want to teach in public universities, IPTA, you need to have a PhD. Okay, usually you need to have that in faculties. Even in the private sectors, usually the minimum requirement now is a master's degree, because in the private sector, if you want to teach in tertiary education, you will teach students who are below your level. So let's say if you have a master's degree, you will teach degree students, diploma students. Even if you have a degree, you will be highly encouraged to pursue your masters. And what I'm doing right now, I'm teaching in tertiary level education, but at the same time, I also pursue my master's degree. Yep. So if you want to go to the world of academia, tertiary level education to be specific, then a postgraduate certificate, I think it's a must. Yep.
Okay, thank you, Brother Daniel. There is a question from a student asking, will our extracurricular activities affect our application in either a job or pursuing a master's? So this is also to anyone that wants to answer.
Sorry, could you repeat the question again?
Sorry. It is, will our extracurricular activities affect our application in either a job or a master's?
I would like to answer that. Okay. So for me, because during my degree years, I also quite active in elites, and also another club which is Missy Club. army actually, and it was a societal club whereby we go to Sabah, Sarawak, rural areas, and then we help the communities there. So those experience not kind of, but it really does help when I actually apply for my current job. So those are like the added points that you can add in your resume. Yeah. And I think when you want to join clubs or society, make sure that you join it with the purpose that you want to gain experience and you want to learn from other people as well. And that it kind of like put the extra points like I mentioned earlier. So that is based on my experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Ceciliana. Is there anyone else that wants to answer the question?
Yeah, if I can add a little bit from Lena's point, I think what's great about the speakers that we have today is that they are all at some point in their lives were part of elites. So I mean, from my own experience, I can say that the extracurricular side of it really helps you to prepare yourself for the working environment. So what I did during my time in IAM, like I say, I didn't know what I was going to be after I graduated. Until I actually landed the job. So but I didn't realize that what I was doing in IAM was actually preparing me with some set skills that I would be utilizing in my career right now. So I'll give you an example. When I was in IAM, I was part of elites, and then I was part of also I did one semester with IAM FM, where I prepared some scripts for the radio. It was just for 10-minute punya script kind of thing. So I was just doing that out of experience kind of thing. But little did I know that that was actually going to be like my job in the future. Of course, it's not radio, but it's something linked to the news industry. And also, I'm proud to say that I began the Banner Insider. So the idea for the Banner Insider is just to basically get some stories out, among the DELL community. You learn a lot from people just listening to their stories and stuff like that. So I was inspired by something I saw online, I think. I just getting some stories out there, interviewing people. So I started that on my own, just it was just something that that I could do, come up with a website and then just interview some people, take some photos, and then just publish it online. So when you actually see your thought come into realization, you realize that you can do those kind of things. And then so again, little did I know that those are the things that would actually make me to be a reporter lah today, kind of thing. So yeah, that's just a bit of experience lah on my end. Maybe Brother Amir, Brother Daniel, Sister Liana, Sister Fatin can add on, on this.
Hi, allow me to add on a little bit on this as well. So I did share in my presentation that one of the things that DELL can offer is platform. And when you talk about the questions that were thrown by one of our viewers, if there is any need or if co-curricular activities would affect your job application or master, then yes. Which is why it turns back that you do need to find your own platform so that you can acquire a certain kind of skills and tarnish it, develop and make yourself as an expert in that particular soft skills. So Sister Alafa is one of the, I think even in my batch, we all know that she actually started off the Banner Insider. I mean, it's true, the photography and the writings as well. Liana is very well known in elites as those who are taking photography and also design for elites. It's magnificent. I myself has joined a lot of other clubs in DELL, under DELL, elites and other stuff as well in UIA. If you know about Engagement Center, ECCE, or also known as SENSEF previously, I was pretty active in MISI Club. I went a lot to Sabah and Sarawak, and it helps me to, develop my social skill. And these were among the questions that were asked during my interview. Or what did you do when you were active in this club? Or how did you, they throw you questions on how you do the stuff, and they were pretty much invested to know what you have achieved there, because whatever that you learn true co-curricular is actually adding values to what you're going to do after degree. So do strike a balance. Study is your priority. Co-curricular activities are added values. You need to have both of them, get the best of both worlds. That's all.
Can I add something? Just a simple one.
Yes, yes.
Can you hear me? Yeah, all right. So, yeah, if you notice what Sister Alifa and Brother Amirullah has stated, it's very important for you to acquire the skills, because from the co-curricular activities that you do is an indicator towards the future employer whether you can work or not, and whether you can work successfully or not. So that's why it's also important for you to have that sense of skills, because usually fresh graduate, you don't have anything. I mean, because you're not working, so what other things that you can quote unquote show off in some sense. And I like Sister Alifa's saying where she actually she didn't know on what she wanted to do after graduating. And it's okay if, let's say, during your 4 years of degree you have no idea what you want to do, then it's not a problem. But do not simply be comfortable. If, let's say, that you don't know what to do, but you still need to acquire any skills that might be helpful in the future. And you can see how successful she really is right now, because she just wanted to do the Banner Insider and then for IIMFM, and little did she know she can actually use that in her career right now. So if you don't know what you want to do, that's okay, but do not stay stagnant. Do not be comfortable. Acquire any skills that might help you in the future. So that's a little bit of advice. Yep.
All right, one last thing. Okay, so in addition to that, my experience, I was part of elites and other societies as well. And one thing that I did during my degree is that I went for an exchange program, and I noticed that when I was applying jobs after I graduated, that's the thing that they are most attracted to, apart from my other extracurricular activities. And then I think, that experience, those experience helped me get a job. Because before I pursue in my masters, I worked in I work in a few companies and they're not related at all. I think that's the perk of being a Benno student, because you can actually go anywhere. For example, I worked as a project executive at a construction company. I had no idea how they gave me the job, but I guess, yeah. And then I taught at a Academy. I taught English as a foreign language student. Yeah, so you have to have going to class is crucial, because that's the basic thing that you have to equip yourself with. That's the knowledge that you have to equip yourself with. And then extracurricular activities are the add-ons that will help you, because the job market today is really challenging. Yeah, so having those things could you will have no idea how those things are going to help you. So yeah, like Brother Amirullah said, explore get the best of both worlds. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you to all the speakers. Yes, although all the speakers were a part of elites at one point or another, I would just like to tell new intake students that you don't necessarily have to join elites. IIUM has a lot of clubs that caters to a lot of interests. So choose a club that suits you and what you want to do. Just stay there. There was a question, would it be hard to find a job as a lecturer with our degree while pursuing our masters? I think that one is directed at Brother Daniel.
What's the question again?
Would it be hard to find a job as a lecturer with our degree while pursuing our masters?
Well, it depends on the university. I mean, some private sectors they do hire students, graduates with degree because you can still teach diploma. The idea of private sectors, from my understanding, you can teach the level one level below you. One level below. So let's say that right now I have a degree, so I'm currently teaching diploma students and foundation students. Will it be hard to? I'm doing it right now, full-time studying and full-time masters. Yeah, it is challenging, but multitasking. When I was a student, like I said, I'm active in co-curricular activity, and I can say that I'm pretty okay in my academic as well. I think I'm good in my academic life. So it's all about knowing how to multitask. Okay, and that will help you. Let's say that if you want to work and then pursue your masters, multitasking in degree in your undergraduate life would definitely help. I've been doing that since I was foundation. I was an athlete, so I train at night, but I think I did pretty okay in my studies. So yeah, if you want to do that, multitask, but know yourself. It is challenging. It's not easy. So if you couldn't keep up with the pressure, then don't force yourself. Your mental health is still important. So try to explore, try to be good in both co-curricular activities and also your academic, and inshallah it will pay off. And alhamdulillah, right now I'm still doing good in my job and also in my masters. So probably because of the multitasking skills that I have during my undergraduate life. Yep, that's a bit.
Okay, thank you, Brother Daniel. It seems that there are no more questions in the comment section of our YouTube. I would like to ask, are there any lecturers that would like to ask any questions to our alumni?
Are there any lecturers who would like to ask questions to our former students? Oh, Dr. Aisha, be prepared.
I'm scared.
All right. So, sorry, I thought that I needed to be nearer the speakers. Thank you to Alifa, Amirullah, Liana, Daniel, and Fatin for making the time this afternoon to talk to our students. And it's been really when you see your students returning and they they're doing well in their life, we are so happy. It feels like you're my children somewhat. So my question is for Alifa, because in your job you get to meet a lot of public figures. Maybe this is just like a basic question. Who was the most interesting interview subject that you had, and why?
Thank you, Dr. Aisha. It's also a privilege to see you right now and to be able to share, some. I mean, I'm glad we made you proud somehow. So okay, interesting people. I think I find it very interesting, or it's something like an achievement unlock kind of thing to be able to interview Tun Dr. Mahathir and Tun Siti Asma during the same year when they were both in office. Tun Dr. Mahathir was in office, but I think the most interesting one would be Dr. Siti Asma punya interview is more interesting to me than Dr. Mahathir punya interview, in the sense that it was very personal. She was very I think it's something that you can only imagine lah kot, to have access to their day-to-day lives, something very, very subtle, stuff like macam she was saying that how Dr. Mahathir is somebody who's very shy, and so that even when they go through the tol punya terminal, tak cenggos, smart tag kind of thing, when she lays her hand on his hand, when their hands are on the armrest, he would pull his hand back because dia takut somebody will see them touching hands or holding hands, sorry. So those kind of intimate moments lah, and then stuff like macam when before they go to sleep, Tun Siti Asma said she'll make it a point to like just talk to him and ask him how he's doing and stuff like that. And so those intimate moments lah, which I find to be very interesting. Listening from somebody, these great personalities lah. These are people who have done a lot in their lives, and and at 94, 95 this year. Subhanallah, dia punya tu, but so to know that how much they've achieved and to know how human they are, in person is something that I find very, very very interesting, like something that will stick in my mind and heart for forever lah.
Okay, so thank you, Sister Alifa. Are there any other lecturers that would like to say anything? Okay.
Any question? I just want to again thank all our alumni again for making their time. And I know I think we made so many changes last minute due to MCO and all that. But I think in near future, I hope we can have a face-to-face session just with all of you that we have invited here. But we'll see what's happening soon with the uncertainty nowadays, right? We don't know yet. But inshallah, we'll meet each other. We'll invite you for high tea. Maybe not at the kuliah level, just at the department level. Yeah, not here. According to the Taisha, not here, outside.
Dr. Ruby.
Yeah, Dr. Adlina, right.
Yeah, Assalamualaikum. I have one burning question.
Burning, Allah.
Okay. Assalamualaikum, everyone. The speakers. Thank you for sharing your experiences with us, as well as with your adik-adik and with other students. I have a question. When you applied for your current jobs, okay, when you attended the interview and all that, did you notice whether there is a kind of expectation, some kind of, maybe subtle, maybe it's not really that obvious, but there is some kind of expectation from your future employers in terms of your language ability, the fact that you're from UIA? Does that set you apart somehow in a maybe subtle way from students or graduates from other universities? If any one of you would like to share your experience. Thank you.
If I can say something, for my employers, they didn't really have that kind of expectation, but I'm just sharing what I'm told. I was told that there are expectations, high expectations actually coming from IIUM students. So I suppose it's our outside achievements, I believe, being great in debate and stuff like that, and the kind of graduates that we've produced so far, and the likes of Faiz Adik and Dr. Mazli are helping that sentiment lah, I guess, right now. So I think there are some kind of expectation on IIUM students lah, on the kind of thinking that they have and how they present themselves lah. So I think I can sort of agree to that.
Can I add?
Yeah.
So I think when I was in the interview, when they noticed that I was an IIU graduate, they always have this idea that, oh, your English must be very good, knowing that IIUM is and use English as a medium of instruction, and as a Benel graduate, your English must be better. If you feel that your English is good, plus with the pressure of being as an IIUM alumni, IIM graduate, your English must be better than good. So right now, if let's say that you're all in your first years, right? If you feel that, oh, my English is not that good, it's time to sharpen up. It's time to be, there's no room for you to not be good in the language because you are an English major. If you're not good in the language, so what are you, right? So yeah, I do feel that that certain expectation. Okay, your English must be good. On top of you being an English major, because you are in from IIUM, then your English must be better. So yep, expect that as well. I mean, that's from my experience lah. Thank you.
Hi, I just want to add one more thing to Dr. Adlina's question. So, from my own personal experience during the interview, there was not much of expectations that was set. Despite knowing that I graduated from UIE or I graduated with an English language and literature degree courses, but when I was already at the station working with my colleagues and working together with the leads and managers as well, only then they can capture your skill and then they will put your expectations. So, oh, for example, you're an English grade, you're an English grad. Can you actually write a script for our video? And that was my starting point of actually going to create videos for the company itself. And there's a lot more implication where people actually like to push you as a presenter, and that's because you are good in English, you're an English grad. The expectation may not be in during the interview, but then when you were already in the office doing job, it's going to be really obvious. Thank you.
Thank you all. Is there anyone else that would like to add anything?
Lecturers, do you have any question? Hold on. If not, I would like again. So first, again, so many times I would just to say thank you to our alumni for joining this, for making the time to join this session. Perhaps what we can do now, as usual, evidence of us doing work. Evidence. Okay, wait. I'm trying to get everyone. Okay, please, Daniel, do you have? Are you driving? Okay. So, all right. If you can, please turn on your. Oh, you all are driving. Dr. Homam. Okay, I don't know, maybe Dr. Afifa or who is this lecturer? Okay, a few seconds. Oh, okay. All right, hold on. Okay. Okay, hold on. Okay, so one. Okay, just smile. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. One more time. Mady's not ready. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much. So anything else you want to add? Okay, so hopefully, I think I truly enjoyed this session. I was out for 20 minutes to pick up my daughter, but I was watching everyone's session via YouTube live. So I was thinking maybe we can do this in future. So yeah. Sorry? Yeah, I think we should do this in future. Right? Because this is truly beneficial to our students because as usual, students don't listen to us, but they listen to other people.
And they're seniors.
They are seniors. So they don't listen to us. Whatever you have shared today is we have told this like 1,000 million times.
So at least listen to
they can listen from someone who are not their lecturers. That's
But for the next 4 years, you have to listen to us. Okay?
All right, so thank you so much, everyone who's watching on YouTube Live, all the lecturers who's attending this session. So if there's nothing else, so I think, Tika, we can just end the session.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you all for for tuning into our live. I hope that everyone watching has gained something beneficial from the sharing session. For new intake students, I hope now you know a little bit more on what a Beno student can do, and also for returning students, I hope this motivates you in your studies. And also for fourth year students, I hope you get a little bit of an idea of what you want to do next year when you graduate. So that is all for our session today. Let's end our session with Tasbih Kafara and Surah Al-As.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.